If you want to be truly successful in your life, not surface level successful, not successful only in one of the areas, only in finances or only in relationships or only in the well-being section. If you want it all, then this episode is for you. And if you watch till the end and not only watch, but actually practice what I'm going to share with you here, your future self is going to be very, very, very grateful to you because your success 100% depends on your ego. I will show you the most amazing and beautiful practice you can do to help your ego transform because it's really, really hard for a human being to not feel these feelings and not to be triggered. It's really extremely hard. There is a practice that will switch off these triggers for you, literally dissolve it without effort. And it worked for so many people. It worked for me. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Creatorland Podcast. My name is Anna Jaja. I'm Ukrainian immigrant in the United States who came here with just one suitcase, no resources, and in few years created, designed the life I'm really proud of, where I don't have to sacrifice anything, where I can literally have it all and enjoy it. And my goal, my purpose is to share with as many of you as possible that you were meant to do the same and you are done living in survival mode. So check out my other episodes where I break down the two modes of this life quest game, creator mode and survival mode. But today we're going to talk about ego. Not in the way you may think, because ego is often associated with something bad. Oh, he has huge ego. Oh, her ego is way in front of her. But ego as a part of human experience. If you think about it, your life here on earth is impossible without ego because we have several parts of us, and one part of us is a spiritual part when we actually remember that we are a spirit. And you might have experienced this during your meditation if you ever tried that, when you experience this feeling of unity. But when actually this happens, and I was stuck there for a long time, you kind of on the ninth cloud, you feel so calm and so peaceful. There is no point to achieve anything. You really don't need anything. You realize that we are all one and there is no lack in anything. And spirit doesn't really need new car and a lot of money in the bank account. So that's where ego comes. And there are a lot of spiritual teaching talking about killing your ego, kill your ego. It's impossible, first of all. Okay, let's just start with this. It's impossible. And ego is actually a good thing because this is our driving force in the game. What is the point to prove anything to anyone, to achieve anything, if you know that you're literally spirit living the human experience and everything is, already exists? So it kind of removes the whole pressure of the game. So the point of this episode is not about killing your ego or dissolving your ego or teaching you that ego is bad. And there is also like this dark side of spiritual practices when you think that you should become selfless and completely lose your ego. That's impossible. I mean, there are some masters, ascended masters here on earth. They came to play this experience. But if you're watching this, that's not your journey, because if your soul were to choose this type of journey, you wouldn't be having access to YouTube and you wouldn't be watching this episode. So if you do watch this episode, maybe you got a little bit entangled in the game of spirituality, like over spirituality, over unity consciousness, over I don't need anything. Or the opposite of that, you actually have been entangled in the game of ego, of proving. Both are extremes and they are not good. Well, I don't really believe that there is something good and bad. And in these labels, I believe that all of our experiences were meant to be. They were exactly as they were supposed to be, even our so-called mistakes. But at a certain point, once you learned your lesson, you will reach some kind of information, external information, that will help you, guide you in the right path. And so today I will explain to you more about ego and what to do with it. So if we can replace the word ego in the bad meaning of it, as we know how it is perceived when it's something bad, replace it with wounded personality, traumatized personality, because we all come from childhood and we are all wounded children inside. without any exceptions. Even if you think that your childhood was perfect, everything was amazing, that's true, but it's not true in terms of you had your childhood wounds. It's been backed by science that all of our internal programming, subconsciousness programming, happened between the age of 0 to 7, when children do not have any critical mind yet. They are not analyzing the situation, they perceive the experience as is. Imagine the situation when the kid is waking up. It happened to me, waking up at night. I don't know, maybe I was 6 or 7 years old. By the time I woke up, I was calling mama, mama, and she was not there. So I started looking for her around the house, and I opened the front door. And I don't know how, accidentally, I don't know who did that, but there was this little snake. It was not dangerous snake, but I saw a snake and got really, really, really scared. And my mom, at this time, my mom was visiting neighbor, literally next door neighbor. She was next door. She came to her for like half hour to have a cup of tea. It was not that late night, and she knew I was sleeping and I wasn't a baby anymore. So she didn't do it in terms of traumatizing me, but I was traumatized at that time. So my subconsciousness learned that when I need my protection, my mother is not there, that I shouldn't trust, that it's dangerous to relax because I fell asleep and my mom disappeared suddenly. So I have to be very cautious. I have to be keeping my guard. And if you are curious and brave, because I was curious and brave, I opened the front door, then life can attack you. And there was literally a snake. So I was traumatized by that experience. It doesn't mean that my mom was bad or your mom was bad or that. It just means that kids don't have this critical thinking or thinking about the situation, analyzing it, processing it in a healthy way. So all of these programs are stored in our personality, and we are traumatized kids. If you have never really deeply looked into your emotions, looked into your reactions, into your triggers, worked on your self-awareness, what am I thinking, what am I doing? I have a video, beautiful video with very practical advice about your thoughts and self-awareness. If you have never ever done that deeply, I don't even talk about therapy, it's not about therapy, it's just about being self-aware and honest about yourself, then I guarantee you that you have childhood wounds, traumas unprocessed, and a lot of your reactions, a lot of your beliefs, and a lot of your triggers, they are not true. They are just imprints from your childhood. So here is where the ego concept comes. If we replace it with wounded child, it all makes sense. For example, we see a man who tries to earn as much money as possible and achieves a lot of success and tries to buy as many toys as possible, big yacht, expensive mansion, beautiful young wife. It's all coming from ego, definitely from ego. But we actually achieve everything from ego, all of us, even when we are spiritual. Nothing is being achieved out of being a pure spirit. So when we achieve things from ego, the question is it a traumatized ego or is it transformed ego? The concept that I'll introduce later in this video. So coming back to that man who achieved everything, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? On one hand, it is a good thing, right? Because the person really did a lot of achieved success. It was his driving point, get more, achieve more. But when it is done out of wounded ego, and I'm gonna call it a wounded ego, a traumatized ego, wounded inner child position, it will never be serving the greater good, not for this person nor for the community and society around, because they're going to be competition, they're going to be maybe some not very honest ways of doing business, there are going to be a lot of autopilot and triggers, zero self-awareness. Ego can create this desire to destroy others just not to feel less than. So that's what we are actually seeing in the world, in the 3D matrix. It's all driven by fear, scarcity, and ego, traumatized ego, trying to prove something to somebody. And the worst part of it, because you can say it's a good thing because you really achieve, it's your driver, but this achievement will be coming in survival mode, which means it's gonna be with sacrifice. So if the achievement is going to be coming in money and financial success, it's all going to be outside. On the inside, it's going to be very, very lonely, very empty, never given a chance for real connection, never given a chance for spirituality, never given a chance of blessing to feel the impact you were meant to do here. It doesn't make the person good or bad. It just describes the experience. So if you keep acting from wounded ego, you are depriving yourself of a very beautiful experience of deep love, deep connection, good health, and success that comes without any sacrifice. On the other hand, we have all those spiritual people who are fully awakened, and they're doing are trying to kill their ego, kill everything. I don't need anything. I'm selfless. I don't need money. I don't need material world. I don't need to be known. Let others be known. Just again, it's all coming out of fear and scarcity, because this is another side. So this is no longer a wounded ego, but it's some kind of suppressed ego, I would say. I would call it suppressed ego, where you fully give the reins to your spiritual part. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful to feel this unity of consciousness. It's beautiful to feel this, that we are all one, to experience this divine love. It's amazing. It's really the experience that everyone should be blessed to have, if they choose so, of course, because it's all a game and we're all playing our experiences. But if you do, if you're lucky to have experienced that, then it's amazing and everything will shift for you. But there is a trick. It's a trap of matrix, actually. You think that you are awoken and you broke free from matrix. All you are doing is just playing another level of matrix, because you are still stuck in survival mode. Just remember this one thing. Look at your life and say, am I resourceful? Am I rich in terms of I don't need to really work too hard to survive? Like, I can afford good vacations, good home, good quality of life without working hard. Am I really experiences good connections, deep connections? Do I have love in my life? It doesn't matter if it's partner or spouse, but other people with whom I'm really deeply connected, because human experience means there should be connections. And how is my health? How is my body? Am I in touch with my body? How do I feel in my body? So if there is any of these areas are still, need improvement, you cannot 100% say that, wow, that's amazing, I'm very blessed in all of these areas, then you are still in survival mode. So it's not good or bad. Watch my other videos. Today we're actually unpacking what to do with this ego. I don't really like just to talk, okay, there is a problem. And this was my driving force to create this podcast. There is nobody here to save. There is nobody here to teach or improve. All I'm doing, I'm helping you to remember, actually. That's all I'm doing. But I want you to remember. I want to help you to remember these things. So let's talk about ego and why it is important and why it's actually affecting your success and your business. So imagine you're doing your business in survival mode, driven from wounded ego. How is it gonna look like for you? First of all, you will be experiencing a lot of stress, because there is a need to prove something to somebody. You are going to be wasting a lot of your life force energy. And there was a big shift in my mindset when I realized that we are not coming here with a limitless energy and limitless amount of breath. That the phrase I actually heard not so long time ago, that every human being has not years to live, not seconds to live, but the amounts of breath we were given. And we were given a limited amounts of breath. And notice, when we're in survival mode, when we're in a hustle, when we are in a hurry, when we are stressed, we are wasting our breath. There is even a saying, don't waste your breath. It's not worth for me to waste my breath on this person, right? So it's true. All of this proving and stress, it's not worth of wasting your breath. And when I realized that we have a limited amount of breath on this planet, it shifted everything. I was asking myself, is this situation worth my breath? Am I really, because when I say, is it worth your life, wasting your life, it doesn't trigger my brain. I'm kind of, okay, I'm living, I'm alive, I have my life. But when I realized that the way I live my life, the quality of my life, how I am breathing, it's shortening or prolonging my time here on the planet, of my possible impact, time of spending with the people I love, seeing my children, grandchildren grow up, experiencing life. So I started really changing and shifting the situations. No, it's not really worth my breath. No, it's not. No, I'm not ready to give 10 years of my life just for this, carrying the pain that the person caused me. So when we are with our wounded ego, we carry a lot of also grudge, pain, even unconsciously. Even if you think that you let it go, unconsciously, very, very deep, it's still there. I've been on a self development journey for a very long time, and I was very honest and very raw with myself. And I'm finding out that it's not the same for everybody. It really needs a lot of courage to be honest with yourself, because I've noticed, and I unpacked it in my episode about thoughts. I thought I'm a good person, nice person. It appeared that I wasn't. I was judging a lot. So just watch this episode if you want to go deep into your self awareness. If you are still on the wounded ego part and you are aware enough and brave enough to admit that, because it all starts here, starts from this moment where I'm brave enough to admit that I'm acting out of wounded ego as a wounded inner child. If you are brave enough, I applaud you right now, because that's where everything changes for you. The more you are denying, I'm nice, I don't have any trauma, I don't have anything, I'm perfect, the more you're prolonging your really beautiful success in all the areas of your life. So imagine doing business from wounded ego. So first of all, a lot of grudge, a lot of wasting your life force energy, of course, a lot of stress, definitely. Of course, you're not going to feel very good. You're going to be hustling harder. And also, there's going to be constant fear that you may lose it, and forcing you even to work even harder and harder and harder. Because in survival mode, there is always fear. Once your ego is transformed, you're not afraid to lose anything, and you don't need to prove anything to anybody. So your stress levels, they tremendously decrease. Also, they're going to be competition. They're going to be comparing yourself to others, whether you are feeling superior to others, constantly being looking from up down on people, which of course affects your relationships, or constantly feeling inferior to people, looking down up, or pretending to be superior, looking up down, but inside it always comes from insecurity, because only insecure person will actually want to prove that he or she are better than others. So all of it comes from wounded ego, and all of it comes from childhood. All of it. There is nothing happening after, later in our life, that traumatizes us as much as in the childhood. And the same with spiritual ego. So your suppressed ego. Also, there is something called spiritual pride, spiritual ego, when you are so superior to others because you are so woke and others are so deeply asleep that you are being judgmental, and you are not even noticing how you are actually wasting your life force energy, or you're wasting your life force energy trying to save people who didn't ask you to be saved. And then you are upset because they didn't accept your wisdom, they didn't follow your advice, or you're exhausted from helping all those victims who drain a lot of your energy, but they actually never actually act on the advice you're giving. All of it comes from still untransformed ego. And let me give you the version of ego that's serving your purpose. So ego doesn't disappear anywhere, because it's human, it's very human. And here we can replace ego with personality, identity, because without identity, without some kind of achievements that you want to make, impact you want to make, you are not able to play the game. Let's talk how transformed ego looks and why it's going to contribute to your success. Transformed ego is actually when you're very self-aware, when you have connected to your deeper purpose, when you have purpose in this life other than just survival reasons, money, relationships, like your well-being. The person with transformed ego always, and I mean it always, puts his or her own well-being first, the joy, the purpose, the feeling of being fulfilled first, and only after everybody else comes. The person with transformed ego understand that when actually you are in this joy, then when you are actually making the biggest impact. So you don't have to sacrifice anything, you don't have to rush into anything. You can just stay in this centered space, enjoy, and there you are able to take aligned action, aligned to who you truly are. Transformed ego understands that I really know very little about reality, even after you feel like you know a lot and you know it all, because you know that there is always another layer, there is always something deeper. Transformed ego serves as a really as this compass, because you sense people who are on the same level with you, and you don't believe in competition, you don't believe in proving anything to anybody. You are just being yourself, acting from your purpose, acting from joy, and this creates the biggest impact. And success in terms of money, good relationships, it all comes as a byproduct of this ego. So imagine doing business from transformed ego. When your ego is actually transformed, when you don't have any hooking you. So if you get a client that complains about your services, or if you have a person, your employee, that stole from you, for example, or acted in not a very decent way, transformed ego takes everything as is, as a lesson, or as something that somehow we attracted ourselves. It acts on it. It doesn't mean that you don't take any action, but you don't waste your breath on stressing about it or blaming the circumstances, because there is no circumstances to blame. You understand that all is part of your reality. So if you got this lesson in your reality, there is something there for you. Part of you still may be unhealed and attracted this situation. So you're able to look into your part, rewire it, remove it, at the same time acting on the real life situation, not like spiritual ego. Okay, I accept it's all my parts. If somebody betrayed me, I just understand that we are all one. I will do nothing about it. This is a spiritual ego and suppressing and not transforming your ego. Transformed ego will act on it, will set a boundary, will play the game, will say something on the outside. Imagine like you are in a theater and there are roles. And if in theater somebody betrays you, you act your part and you set a boundary or you walk away. But inside, you don't waste your breath on it. It's not stressful for you. It's not hurting you because there is no hook to catch you. There is no more trauma to catch you. And if it catches you and if you have the hook, then you actually see it, you're self-aware. You say, hey, this situation triggered something in me. Let me look inside. What did it trigger in me? I had this transformation of my ego mainly from relationship with my mother, because we used to be very close. Then I got married. I had to leave her completely alone after her mom died, my grandmother. I got married young and I left her. And there was a lot of traction between my mom kind of blaming me blaming myself. I wanted her to understand and support me. She wanted me to take care of her. There was traction about not accepting my husband and his ways with me. My husband had problems with my mom, a typical mother-in-law and son-in-law situations. And that was not funny at the time. Honestly, when I had my first child, my daughter, it was very painful, but I didn't talk to my mom for a few months. She didn't even know I had a baby while we were very close from our childhood. Like she was she got me early. I grew up without a father and we were very close. We used to talk, but there was a lot of trauma from my mom for me, not on purpose. So part of my wounded ego wanted my mom to understand me, to choose me, and her wounded ego wanted me to follow, their societal rules. And it was our waking up path. That was our path to wake up to who we truly are. And we really transformed our egos and we really accepted each other. And now I have the most really beautiful soul that understands me, that I can be truly myself with. And the same transformation is happening also with my husband. It's a work in progress, but it's getting better and better. So, all when I started working on the ego. So, what is this magic practice I wanted to share with you, and why I want to share with you, and why I want you to do it? The first step of this practice is letters to your parents. Not because they were bad or not because they were good, not because that you need to forgive. Even this concept that you need to forgive your parents, it's ridiculous on its own. You spawned into the game through your parents. You owe them nothing, they owe you nothing. That's all. But you do owe them only one thing, which is respect and gratitude. Nothing else. You don't owe them love. You don't owe them taking care of them or anything else. All of the societary rules. I mean, when it comes from obligation, if you want to do it, of course. But obligations, there are no obligations. But respect and gratitude, this is your obligation. And it's very selfish obligation because it's for your own good. Everything in your life related to your physical well-being, your health, your well-being in the family, personal relationships is related to relationship to your mom. And don't think that if you love your mom and you are okay together, there are no hidden blocks in your subconsciousness. All of my episodes, I'm talking about subconscious blocks. Of course, in your mind, you love your mom, for example, or your caregiver. I'm talking about subconsciousness. You are really not aware what's going on there. It's deep, deep, dark waters. So instead of going to therapy for 5 years, digging and trying to forgive your mom or heal the childhood trauma, I'm going to give you a shortcut because nothing to heal. All you need is to dissolve the subconscious blocks. So everything related to money, society, your how you are in society, what is your role, or how much you are successful, how much you have success in business, it's all related to your father. And the funny thing that I grew up without the father, I never actually was angry at him consciously. I kind of grew up knowing that he left us. They were young, 17. So I was okay with that. I had enough love from my parents. But subconsciously, there was an imprint that father were never there for me. And therefore, I always struggled in my life with money. I was able to earn money, but it was very hard to keep money. So I was never good enough to keep money. And there was a lot of deep work done there. So I'm giving you a shortcut. You don't need years and years of therapy. You don't need to treat yourself as a victim. You don't need to heal constantly, nonstop. All you need is to write these letters and make a conscious decision to transform your ego. The first letters, I will give you the text in the description to this video of these letters. Just copy paste it and write it. Write it with your hand. Don't write it on the phone or on the notes. Don't show it to anybody. Don't send it to your parents. Don't have to talk to your parents. It's as almost if you came to a doctor and the doctor told you, hey, you have this course of medicine you need to take for 21 days. That's it. You don't have to believe in it. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to feel what's in the letters. It's doing its job. Because when we write, we have this energy centers here. This is a direct connection to your subconscious mind. And this will transform your life. I cannot describe how many transformations I've seen already, starting with myself when we use this specific, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, I thank you. So I am sorry because we choose this path. We came here knowing what wounds we're gonna get, and we had the souls helping us on our journey. So I am sorry that you had to act this difficult part of traumatizing me or doing something for me. Please forgive me for that. I love you. Love is the universal energy that dissolves ego. I thank you. So gratitude. This is second universal energy that dissolves ego. Whenever you are trapped in old pattern, when you cannot forgive somebody, when you cannot stop feeling these feelings, you want to let it go. You understand already that it's in your best interest to let it go. Then use these 4 words. It's Ho'oponopono technique. It comes from Hawaii, I believe. I transformed it a little bit and included this in the letters in a specific way. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna write letters to your parents for 21 days. You will take any notebook, any journal, put day one, write the letters. Same day, same time. It's gonna take you 5 minutes. The letters are very short. Write this text with your hand in your journal. If you forgot, you skipped the day, it's okay. You just resume until you have written 21 days. Then you're gonna use this technique on anyone with whom you have beef or had beef. If you had, for example, divorce, if you have if you have an old friend, or if there is something now, right now in your situation that is happening where you have these emotions of anger and pity and you're upset and you want the person to acknowledge they were wrong, you have this feeling that I'm right, they're wrong. How come they hurt me? How they don't see it? Or you're angry, frustrated. But you're at the point when you understand, okay, I understand it's my ego. I understand that it's not serving me. It's in my best interest to save my breath and not to feel it. But that's where it comes. It's so, so hard because wounded ego really wants to be right. And it's such a sweet and pleasant pain of being the victim. I got so self aware and so honest with myself that I literally saw this sweetness in being right, in this righteous part. You see what she did to me, how this is my mother, and that's what she did to me. Or you see what he did to me, how come the husband can do something like that? And you feel so proud of yourself and so righteous, and it feels so good. It feels very bad on emotional level because you're hurting and you're crying, but you see, but when you become honest with yourself, you actually see that it feels good somewhere very, very, very deep level. It feels good to be betrayed. It's a very weird thing to say, but if you're honest, and only if you're ready to be honest with yourself, you will understand that it feels good. Feels good for your ego, not for your soul and body. It's hurting, it's painful. And that's when you need this technique. You need these words. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I thank you. I love you. Or I love you. I thank you. I had letters and letters, pages and pages of my journal, writing these phrases to the people who hurt me, the very people who acted very bad to me, who physically hurt me, who mentally hurt me, who betrayed me, who tried to take the most dearest things from me, who really stabbed a knife in my back. I've been through so many of such experiences in my life. But when I reached the point of being very honest with myself, I saw how my own internal programming of world is not safe to trust, people always betray you, the closest people betray you, I'm not being understood, I'm being betrayed constantly. This inside programming that I carried with me from my childhood, from previous generational wounds of my ancestors, this program was running on the background, attracting the experiences to prove it. Until I actually saw myself as the source of everything that was going on with me in my life, I was not able to change anything. I was stuck in old patterns. By only taking really raw responsibility for what you have in your life, you are able to heal and to actually transform. And as I'm telling you, it's extremely hard. And I'm here to support you. I'm here to tell you that that's okay to feel anger and that's okay to feel frustration and to feel like a victim. That's okay. But if you are done living in survival mode, if you are done with this and you want to take responsibility, just it's extremely hard and you are looking for help and you are maybe stuck in these patterns, please use this technique. It's dissolving everything in your subconsciousness. What you will notice in 7 days, it's gonna get lighter. Your heart is gonna get lighter. In 21 days, depending on how hard is the situation, how severe is the situation, in 21 days, you will realize that you are looking at the situation as an observer. And that's exactly the point of it. You will notice how your ego is actually being transformed and you will stop feeling so hurt from the situation. And only then you will be able to let it go. Because the very fact when you are stuck in your ego, you enjoy being this victim and you are not taking responsibility of it, but you said, I want a situation to change. But the only way for situation to change, to stop attracting the same patterns, is to take responsibility for it and rewire this internal programming. But even to look deep inside and ask what program inside me created the behavior of this person this way? What is really inside of me that attracted this to my life? Even to be able to do that, your ego must start transformation, because wounded ego will never want to acknowledge anything, will never want to take responsibility, because wounded ego has a benefit of being wounded because it feels familiar, not because there is some kind of conspiracy theory trying to, I don't know, make you a villain. It just feels familiar because that's what you were programmed to do. And it is familiar to your nervous system, to your body when you are being hurt. It's just familiar. Maybe you've heard of the situations when women, they don't blame their abusers and they are having hard time of leaving them because they, oh, maybe they will change. Maybe something will change. Oh, he promised me. And then the situation happens again and again. So anyone who has healed already or who was never wounded in the first place in this the same way will have very hard time to understand, why are you accepting this? It's in your power to just move on. It's easy to say, but when ego is not transformed, when wounded ego is leading the way, it feels familiar. So this pain, it feels familiar, and healed path, the safe path, the normal path, I don't know, I don't like the label normal, but safe path feels unfamiliar, unsafe for subconsciousness. Subconsciousness tries to keep you safe. And by keeping you safe, it will keep you in familiar situations because that's the only thing it knows. So it's actually trying to serve your greater good, but it's not. So what we can do, we can take action and say, hey, I'm done of my ego leading me. I'm done and I want to transform it, because there is only way when your business will transform, when your success will transform, when you transform your ego, because then you will have a lot of energy. Imagine how much energy you have unconsciously been sending to all those situations. All of us, we have the situations from the past when we just keep coming back with our thoughts to it. We're stuck in the past. And it's so easy to say, just don't think about it. But how not to think about it if every cell of your body wants to think about it? If you don't want this, but it's dragging you into it, it's very, very hard, extremely hard. So Ho'oponopono technique, a little bit transformed with my approach with this letter, that's what's gonna save you from it. You will have very little effort and you will notice that it's so much easier than just going and spending years and years to therapy. Imagine after all of those wounds or people hurt you when it's really unfair what they have done, and maybe they will never ever acknowledge, or maybe they will never ever change. So you're not benefiting yourself by being stuck in those patterns, and you understand it, otherwise you wouldn't watch this video. Even you understand that, but yet it's in your body, it's in your nervous system, and it's very hard. This technique will help you. It's literally dissolving all of it. And whenever I'm working with anyone, with any clients who want to transform their life, they want to go deeper, they want to create their success on all levels, this is a baseline. Even if they've done inner work, even if they forgave everybody, or they feel like they don't really care anymore, or there is nothing inside, just love and acceptance, you may feel this way and still have subconscious programs, very, very deep layers, because this programming, it's not just on surface. Been through this. In my mind, I was already a spiritual person. I accept everybody, I forgive everybody, and yet I was attracting these patterns. So I was looking even deeper and deeper, every time finding more and more layers. And this technique helped me to actually saved me a lot of time. And I didn't, trust me, I never done therapy. I've done therapy. I had one session with a therapist. All of my therapy was me going into spirituality. That was my therapy. I've done a lot of coaching and supportive work for me from spiritual guides, also from channelers. Yes, I've used help, but mainly I've done a lot of my journey myself by self-awareness, and this technique what helped me because it removed layers and layers and layers and layers of dirt I had in me without me having to actually face this dirt. It just dissolved it as if I was putting some nice, beautiful, clean water in my cup, more and more, more and more, more and more, more and more. And eventually, the dirt that was inside, it just disappeared. I didn't have to face it. I didn't have to remember every single trauma from my childhood. Yes, I had this digging, self digging work, of course, but it wasn't that bad. And I'm telling you, in 3 years, I have achieved a result that people don't achieve in 10 years in therapy because in therapy I love therapy. It's supporting a lot of people on their way. It's teaching us to talk about our emotions, to become self-aware. But I'm giving you literally a shortcut. If you start with this technique, even if you don't believe it, even if you don't feel it, even everything seems the same, but you stick to it and you do it for 21 days to your parents, you will start noticing shifts. It's going to be like a miracle. Things will start shifting for you in your life. You will go deeper into self-awareness. You will become less caring about other people's opinion. And even if you don't want to care, you might still. It was very deep in my body. I want not to care. I understand that I shouldn't care. And yet, parts of me, not all of me, but parts of me, were still caring. We're still trying to prove something. So this technique what removed a lot of this pressure, and I hope this helps. Please write me in the comments if you've tried it, if you've heard about it before, and if you find this podcast helpful. If you want me to keep recording the episodes, please support by subscribing, by liking this video. Please share it with someone who you think needs this right now. And remember, you are not broken. Everything is fine with you. Your soul chose this path. We're in a game. It's not that serious.